Well, what you guys? Just a quick one, and I know you. I know straight away. None of you's seen this coming. We all shocked, aren't we? We all absolutely shocked. Yes, of course. What I'm talking about is the Manchester airport attack, where the two brothers set about police officers and broke a female officer's nose. Yes, these are the two brothers, Mohammed Ahmad and Mohammed Fahey Amaz. Who would have guessed that these guys would have got away? No sentencing, no nothing. Now, I want to remind you, this incident took place in July of 2024. How are we here? The case was dropped because the jury couldn't reach a verdict. But did you not have enough evidence? Did you not know what was going on? How could you not reach a verdict of guilty or not guilty? Anybody out there, if you were on a jury and you had video evidence like this, would you say guilty or not guilty? Here's the police approaching. Absolute. Yeah, might be charged with causing actual bodily harm. No prison for the guys, though, is there? They deny the charges. Of course they're going to deny the charges. We live in clown world. We really, really do live in clown world. To all the members of the jury, how could you not reach a verdict? We all knew the outcome of this long before this whole bread and circuses result came today, didn't we? We all knew they weren't going to feel the consequences of their actions. They never do. They never do. But I can bet there's going to be a lot of angry people out there. And these guys, there's no evidence. The jury can't reach a verdict, so they walk free. But there's going to be someone that posts something on Facebook just expressing their discontent with this outcome. And you know what? That poor person will probably end up getting arrested. And they might go to prison. Chances are they will go to prison. And in Lammy's UK, there'll be no jury, so just down to the corrupt judge. That's it. That's where we are in the UK. That is literally where we are. This is the interview.
Statement on behalf of Fahey Amaz, age 21, Mohammed Ahmad, age 26, following today's verdict. This jury, after 19 hours and 48 minutes and a 5-week trial, failed to reach a verdict regarding either defendant and has been discharged. The court will reconvene on the 29th of May for the Crown to advise this court on whether there will be any further proceedings. It will be inappropriate to comment until the further date on Friday the 29th of May.
There is going to be no further outcome. I can guarantee you. Do you know, it appears that not only can you come to this country and rape children, rape women, you can run around stabbing people that you don't like. You can do anything you like. And there's no repercussions. None. You can assault somebody in an airport, and when the police come to apprehend you for that assault, you can then assault the police and punch women and break their noses. And if they're not doing that, you've got the pro-Palestine lot that will break into areas and attack police officers with sledgehammers. This is the UK we live in right now. I have a request for Rupert Lowe. God willing, Rupert, come 2029, you are going to be our Prime Minister. I want you to please reassure me that one of your first acts in power is to clean out the police force, such as Mark Rowley and all the other higher-ups in the police force. I want them out. I want a full overhaul of the legal system. Judges and police officers, if these people cannot do their job, then they should not be in that role. It's as simple as that. Now, we all agreed that both the police and the judiciary is very political. There's no denying it. It's not just about two-tier justice anymore. This is about pure corruption. When we talk about the failings of the police, I mean, it's not just letting them get away with crimes, which is what they do on a daily basis. But we also have things like this. Henry Nowak this is going back to 2023. This was a guy which was killed by a psycho called something Digwear, a Sikh fella which could legally carry a knife, which he used that knife to drive into the legs and the lungs of Henry. Henry tried to get away and he was pursued. He was bleeding and he tried to climb a fence. He was pursued. So you can imagine Henry's joy when the police arrived on the scene. Now, unfortunately for Henry, that joy was not to last long, because Digwear then claimed that Henry was being racist. Now, I can only assume at this point that Henry is dripping with blood. He has been stabbed in the lung and stabbed in the legs. He was stabbed 4 times. So, when the police arrived, did they help Henry? In fact, no. What they did, because there was a racist claim, a claim of racism, they handcuffed Henry and were attempting to arrest Henry for racism. Unfortunately, Henry collapsed, still handcuffed, and died in the street. This is the police. And then we have this story from Kent. A 1-year-old baby girl reported to the police and recorded as a crime suspect. Now, from what I believe, this information comes from a Freedom of Information Act, where there were numerous children under the age of 9 were recorded as crime suspects. I think there was a few 2-year-olds and a couple of 4-year-olds, and this is the modern state of the UK. This is the police system. The police don't arrest immigrants. They don't arrest lefties. Or certainly don't. The amount of crimes that have been reported and the police have returned with, there's nothing we can do. But if you put a spicy post onto social media, they'll investigate it. They'll knock at your door, about 50 of them, or at least 10. 3 o'clock in the morning and arrest you for a spicy post. But you report a burglary, a mugging, a rape, definitely a rape. They turn into see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil when it comes to rape. It's like we know nothing. Traditional crimes, something that negatively impacts anyone and everyone involved. They don't investigate. They don't do anything. But if you're a 1-year-old baby who they class it as a minor assault. Now, in my eyes, I've got the vision in my head of 2 children lying down and they just moving around and one baby's accidentally being caught by the other baby's arm. I'm not shitting you. That's the vision I've got in my head. But now that baby's recorded. Come on. We are supposed to be the intelligent species in this planet. Really, we're supposed to be the intelligent ones. And I've said this before. Intelligence has regressed. The civilizations of the past were far more intelligent than we are. And I've always said that. We hear the stories about Neanderthals and how primitive they were as being a precursor to man. And I sit here and I admire the Neanderthals because back in them days, they were surrounded by far more intelligent people than we are today. Far more intelligent. And that's saying something. Absolutely pathetic. It really is. I keep seeing on X, name the police in one word. Well, there's so many words, isn't there? There is incompetent, complicit, But I think at this moment, the one word I'm going to choose is criminals. Because in my eyes, that's exactly what the police are right now. Criminals. Because they are complicit in everything that goes wrong in this country. They are wholly complicit with it. And it's purposeful. That's the thing. You can't lean on stupid policies. Police are supposed to be non-political. Police are supposed to do their job without fear or favour. I can smell the fear on the police, and we can all witness the favour. At this point, the police are a detriment to the people. But here in the UK, we can have Sikhs or certain religions running around legally with a knife. And we know there is a certain minority of people who run around with weapons all the time, machetes, And these people attack indiscriminately. Or should I say discriminately, because they do discriminate. And, no repercussions. But if we try to arm our daughters with pepper spray, they are breaking the law. Now, I don't know about you, but I would feel a lot more confident if my daughter was going out with pepper spray. Because no matter whose daughter it is, it's only a matter of time. And this is what I keep on saying to those on the left and everything else who are fighting for everything that's happening. Fighting for it, not against, for it. No one cares until it affects them. And it's going to affect you. Maybe not. Maybe it hasn't yet. And maybe not today. But one day, very soon, what you are calling for is going to negatively affect you. And what are you going to do then? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when the world turns to shit? Are you going to run to the police? Well, that won't help, will it? I'll tell you what you lefties will do. You lefties will come running towards what you deem as the far right to protect you. And from this headspace, from this moment in time, I can really see everybody telling you to get fucked. Just like people in the UK are losing their lives or having their lives destroyed, you will have to endure that. You really will. We are not going to be there to protect you. We are not going to be there to save you. You're on your own. Everything you guys have called for, I mean, an attack on anybody is awful. And in the United States recently, there was an attack on a mosque. Now, this is unheard of, isn't it, really? When you think about it. An attack on a church, we hear it all the time. Attack on synagogues, we hear it all the time. Nothing's ever really said, though. We have these empty platitudes from government. They don't mean it. When they talk about anti-Semitism, they don't mean it. They just platitudes. That's all they are. They're just nice words and false promises of doing something. In fact, they're the reason they're happening. And when churches get attacked, nothing. When British people get attacked, nothing. Don't hear nothing. Now, this attack happened in the USA. Keir Starmer come out and talked about it. The police put out a press statement about it. But yet, we have atrocities on our own people in this country daily. And no one says a word. So we don't have to ask where the allegiances lie. We know where the allegiances lie. It is not speculation. It is fact. It is observable, undisputed fact. And it is a very, very treacherous move. It's absolutely disgusting. And it needs fixing while we still can. Because it's beyond a joke. When you look at the acts of these people, we have a huge problem in the UK, a huge problem. And it needs fixing. Like I said, I'm just hoping that Rupert Lowe is going to fix it. I know you might be asking, well, why not ask for Nigel Farage? Because there's more chance of Nigel Farage getting in. Yeah, if a general election was called tomorrow, yeah, Nigel Farage will get in. But what's the point of asking him to do anything? Because no offence, Reform are going to do nothing. I can see very little, if any, change of Reform getting in. And that's being blatantly honest. I'm sorry to say, guys, and I know there's a lot of Reform followers out there. And the scary thing is, a lot of the Reform voters, they are pretty much worse than the lefties at this point. And nothing says that more than when Rupert Lowe come onto the scene. Hardcore Reform voters lost their shit. You have to look at the actions. Reform can speak a good game, but then they walk back on that game and they come out with a totally different tactic. It's a totally different game they play. So I can only imagine what they're going to do when they get in power. The way things is going, there's not going to be a country left. The country is literally going to explode. Because everybody, myself included, I'm a pretty laid-back guy, if I'm honest. I normally, in my day-to-day life, I don't let many things bother me. You know, I am the fucky kind of guy. But of late, this really, everything in this country really grinds my gears. It really does. And like I said, I'm pretty laid back. I can only imagine how everyone else is feeling. If we don't sort anything, revolution's already coming. I think it's just a matter of when. It's only going to take one atrocity or one really bad controversy, and this country's going to explode. And civil war will ensue. Not civil unrest, civil war. I think when it comes to it, we're long past civil unrest. Aren't we? I think we're long past that. I think it will go straight to full-blown civil war. Because we are sick, we are tired. We are not allowed to have pride for our country, pride for our fellow countryman. We literally have to toe the party line, or else. That's not freedom. Towing the party line is turning your back on your country, your beliefs, your heritage. Personally, I'm really not prepared to do that. But we need change. We need desperate change. Otherwise, things like this are just going to keep happening. And they'll get away with it over and over again. Now, you have to ask, we have that much crime caused by people who don't belong in this country on a daily basis. Nobody asks the question, why? Because it's not just a case of we letting these people in. It's not just a case of we're inviting these people in, certainly in the Labour days, we actually advertising to them. And yeah, but what happens when you have these people who do not like us enter the country, and at every turn when they do something wrong, there is no repercussions? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to suddenly stop and be good? Do you think they're going to try and assimilate and behave? No. They're emboldened. They are going to do it more. It's a big fuck you in the face of the people. Because our legal system is broken. Our parliament is broken. The whole fucking country is broken. And stuff like this. The jury cannot reach a verdict. They've seen this video. They cannot reach a verdict. But I put it to you, if they were two white men, this would have been over with a long time ago. This event happened in July. By August, if that had been two white men, they'd have been in prison, along with every shit poster from that time. Because we were in prison, a lot of people, for non-crimes. In August of 2024, this happened a month before. This was round about the time of the Southport attack with Rudy Cabana. Nothing's going to happen to these guys, and we knew that from the outset. But it's always nice to get validation, isn't it? Catch you in the next one.